You might be wondering, why is a girl who has made 2 videos on hair and a couple of videos on movie reviews is making a video essay on the problems with Bollywood? You see, the thing is, being a South Asian girl, I grew up watching a lot of Bollywood movies and a monumental number of Bollywood soap operas. We all know how they are. At that time, there was no way for me or for anyone else to know how problematic most mainstream Bollywood movies were. I was fed so much bullshit from the mainstream Bollywood media that even a little bit of deviation from the story of love would be met by me and many others with a very skeptical eye. However, I never watched mainstream Bollywood movies with their central story revolving around a man and a woman with a skeptical eye. Fortunately, I stopped watching Bollywood soap operas when I was in the 9th grade, from the suggestion from my sister. I was around 14 years old then. Like always, my sister was the one knocking sense into me from a very young age. However, I continued watching mainstream Bollywood movies well until I was around 18 years of age. Then I watched this movie with Pariniti Chopra and Siddharth Malhotra named Hasi To Phasi in a Chinese website. Don't worry, I pirated it. I haven't given a single dime of my earning into watching any Bollywood movie, which I will always be proud of. At that time, I could speak Chinese pretty well, and in that movie, Pariniti Chopra was talking to a Chinese girl from Zhejiang University, in Chinese, obviously. Pariniti didn't even speak Chinese. All she said was "ba," which is an article and you can't just use it alone. Pariniti, I think your role required you to speak Chinese since you were in Zhejiang University for 7 years doing your PhD. It would only make sense if you could speak Chinese. But when it comes to Bollywood, all of their money goes into paying their overpriced actors, which don't even have good acting skills. Salman Khan! This was the moment when I realized there is absolutely no effort put into the mainstream Bollywood movies. From then on, I decided never to watch Bollywood movies ever again. But again, I was too judgmental. Recently, I watched a movie named Andhadhun, starring Ayushmann Khurrana and Tabu. Tabu's performance was nothing less than phenomenal in that movie. I'm kind of digressing from the script right now. There's this scene where Tabu is being recorded by her husband, and before she's in this cooking stage and she's cooking and she just snaps and her facial expression, they just change, and I was like, oh my god, does she have bipolar disorder? And I was really looking forward to what's going to happen in the movie, but then she snapped back into her original phase. It was just so amazing to watch that. Moreover, that movie wasn't the garbage that Bollywood puts out every year. That movie felt very different when compared to their mainstream Bollywood counterparts. I also wanted to watch Tumbad, which is a horror movie, but I'm an absolute wuss when it comes to horror movies. So I watched In a Nutshell by Yogi Baba, and it looked different than the other Bollywood horror movies I watched, like 1920 and Raz. I watched 1920 a couple of years ago. I mean, I was in the 9th grade, so I've already passed my undergraduate degree, and I shit my pants. And I watched Raz when I was really, really small, and oh my god, it terrified the shit out of me. I found a lot of Indian YouTubers during this quarantine roasting the shit out of mainstream Bollywood movies, but I didn't find any comprehensive video explaining why mainstream Bollywood movies are shit. I'm making this video to have a comprehensive analysis of why mainstream Bollywood movies are shit. Let's put some disclaimers first. If I made some mistakes with the research that I did in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. This is my first ever comprehensive video essay, so I'm bound to make mistakes. Also, I haven't watched all the movies that I have mentioned in this video. I have, however, read the Wikipedia page so I could familiarize myself with the plots of those movies. Also, I still have not decided if I'm going to make one long video or separate it into sections, so we'll see what happens. So without any further ado, let's get started with the video. The first reason why I think mainstream Bollywood is shit is because of its racism. I really think this is no surprise because Bollywood is no stranger to racism. Racism has been rampant in Bollywood movies since its inception. Let's talk about the movie Gora or Kala, which means the white guy and the black guy. This movie was released in 1972. In this movie, the fairer one is portrayed as an all-round better person, while his darker counterpart is relegated to a dacoit. It might be argued that this movie was released more than 50 years ago, and 50 years ago we were not aware of the damages that racism does. According to Wikipedia, it had been almost 4 years since the civil rights movement had ended. US and the rest of the world still had a lot of changes to make when it came to civil rights, and so had the rest of the world. Come 2021, US and Europe have been able to make significant changes, while the rest of the world still have a very, very long way to go. I would also like to mention the movie Naseeb Apna Apna, which means each person comes with their own fate. This movie was released in 1986 and it was starring one of the biggest stars in Bollywood, Rishi Kapoor. In this movie, he's forced to get married to a dark-skinned woman. The dark-skinned bride is mistreated by her husband, which is Rishi Kapoor, solely because of her skin tone. I also would like to kind of deviate from this script and kind of mention that his first wife, the dark-skinned woman, is kind of very comically showed in the movie. I watched the entire movie in like clips in YouTube, and after, the darker skinned woman, she has kind of a facial, all of her comical, like the way she talks, everything, it goes away after she has her skin treatment, quote unquote, right? So this is very problematic. Rishi Kapoor finds a fair-skinned woman in Bombay and gets married to her secretly. So first he has an affair with her because he's frustrated with his, dark-skinned wife, quote unquote. And then he goes to Bombay and he meets a fair-skinned woman, and then he has an affair with her and gets married to her without telling his first wife. Although this movie has a message not to judge people because of their outer appearance, this message just goes to waste. Because he tells his dark-skinned wife he learned this message of not judging a book by its cover after she becomes fairer. It's just so... So Bollywood has made little to no changes when it comes to racism. This can be exemplified by the song Chittiyan Kalaiyan Re, which means white wrists. This song was released in the year 2015. That is fairly close to 2021. Let's also not forget the song Tujhe Dekh Ke Goriya Beyonce Sharma Jayegi, which means after seeing you, fair woman, even Beyonce will be ashamed. That song was released in the year 2020. After all the well-deserved backlash that this song got, the song's lyrics was changed to Duniya Sharma Jayegi, which now means that the world will be ashamed. Not to mention this song, Hum Kale Hai To Kya Hua Dil Wale Hai, from the movie Brahmachari, which was released in 1968. The translation of the song can be summarized like this: what if I'm black? I'm full of heart. Which just insinuates that black people are not full of heart. I feel like a racist by just reading this sentence. I suggest you watch the video Bizarre Bollywood Lyrics and Its Fair Skin Obsession by Tried and Refused Productions if you want to know more about the Bollywood movies and songs that made a mockery of dark skin tones and outright rejected dark skin tones. I also suggest you to check out the link which lists racist songs in Bollywood in the description box down below. There is no denying that racism and mainstream Bollywood go hand in hand. Several different actresses in Bollywood have advertised several fairness creams, like Fair and Lovely, Neutrogena Fairness, Garnier, whatever, I forgot. Those actresses are Deepika Padukone, Priyanka Chopra, Yami Gautam, and several others I just can't seem to remember. There is a Twitter thread in the description box that shows many actors who have endorsed fairness creams. Make sure you check it out. Most of these fairness creams ads show something along the lines of some girl being disadvantaged and mocked just for having a darker skin complexion. But after she uses a fairness cream, all of a sudden she gets modeling contracts and all the attention from men. Not to mention that several Bollywood actresses have their skin tone changed over the years of being in Bollywood. This was pointed out by the channel Soch By Mohak Mangal. All of these celebrities are idolized in the South Asian countries, and the celebrities' perpetuation of fairness skin creams and fairness further exacerbates the obsession that the South Asian culture has with fair skin. Even men have become the target of fairness campaigns, with one of the highly paid actors, Shah Rukh Khan, becoming the brand ambassador of the fairness cream for men, Imami Fair and Handsome. He kind of did say, I think in a Guardian article, that he does not use this product, but he is the brand ambassador of Fair and Handsome. Furthermore, fair-skinned women have an advantage over their darker-skinned counterparts in Bollywood. Many darker-skinned actresses have spoken on how the industry prefers fair-skinned women to darker-skinned women. One of those actresses is the prolific actress Nandita Das, who has spoken extensively on racism in Bollywood. In an article by The Guardian, she stated, and I quote, "When I play a slum dweller or a Dalit woman is a woman who's from the untouchable caste in Hinduism, my skin is perfect. But directors tell me to make my skin lighter to play affluent upper-class roles." The constant racism that she faced in the industry inspired her to start the India's Got Color campaign, which encourages young women to embrace their natural skin tones. Freda Pinto, according to this article by ScoopWhoop.com, during her modeling days had offers to do a fairness cream advertisement where guys are not paying attention to her when she's darker, but all of a sudden start paying attention to her after she uses some stupid fairness cream. Despite the possibility of getting pocket money by doing that ad, she refused to do it because she didn't support fairness creams. And honestly, props to her for staying true to her ideals. According to this story by ScoopWhoop.com, a casting director, Sanjay Chauhan, made a statement regarding one of the most talented actors, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, where he said, "We can't cast fair and handsome people with Nawaz. It would look so weird. You have to take people with distinct features and personalities when pairing with him." According to the same article, even one of the most respected actors in the industry, Rishi Kapoor, we came back to him, made very racist remarks towards the same actor. Replying to Nawaz's views on cliched romance in Bollywood, Kapoor called him an average actor who's not capable of doing romantic films because he doesn't have the image and the talent to pull them off. What kind of talent do you need to play romantic movies in Bollywood? Oh my god. Sonam Kapoor, a Bollywood actress, also had words of wisdom to share with us when she remarked in the show Coffee with Karan that, "If you're not good looking, people think you're a good actor." Manoj Bajpayee, after getting excellent reviews for his 2001 movie Zubeda, was mocked for not looking like a prince. All of the instances that I mentioned further solidifies my point on how obsessed the Bollywood film industry is with fairness. To further read on these topics, I have left links in the description box down below. Make sure you check it out. Brown faces in Bollywood is also very common. Brown face is when fairer actors put on darker makeup to look darker. According to CNN, in the movie Bala, a fair actress, Bhumi Padnekar, played a darker-skinned woman by putting on brown face to portray a woman who faced discrimination due to her skin color. The director, Amar Kaushik, told the Press Trust of India he, quote, thought about casting a dark-skinned actor but felt Bhumi was superb for this character. I'm sure the irony is not lost on any of us. The mere fact that a fair-skinned woman had to put on a brown face to act in a movie where she faces discrimination due to her skin color is just, oh my god, it's beyond me. Similarly, another movie, Super 30, Hrithik Roshan was also seen with a brown face to play the role of a teacher from Bihar. The same can be said about the actor Ranbir Singh in the movie Gully Boy. I'm not denying the fact that the aforementioned actors are excellent actors, which led them to be cast in these roles. However, I want to ask one question. Did they not find a single very good dark-skinned actor to play these roles? Not a single one? It can be argued that society's obsession with fair-skinned people leads producers to cast fair-skinned actors in their movie, so that those movies can make more money, putting the entire blame on the society. However, according to an article on CNN, Bollywood's influence on society is larger than ever due to the presence of social media. In the same article, Subhash Jha, a film critic, mentions that before the era of social media, Bollywood stars used to be legends whom nobody saw, but now they've started to become more close to their fans, which is why I would like to point out that people in influence have a huge responsibility. If they can tweet Black Lives Matter on their Instagram and Twitter page for, fake internet points, then they can definitely turn down the brand endorsement of fairness creams and fairness. If you want to read about Bollywood actors' tweets about the Black Lives Matter movement, I have linked a Twitter page in the description box that has a Twitter thread of Bollywood actors talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, cleverly juxtaposed with their fairness cream ad. I'm really sorry, I got a text. Bollywood actors taking a stand against the perpetuation of fairness, being more desirable as opposed to being darker, will make a lot more change than we know, because like I mentioned before, a majority of population in South Asian countries idolize these celebrities. If celebrities raise a voice against this, so will the masses. I know several women and girls who are obsessed with fair skin. I also know women who hate themselves and have terribly low self-esteem because they have a darker skin tone as opposed to their fairer-skinned counterparts. We as a society should abandon the obsession that we have with fairer skin so that the future generations won't have to deal with the prejudices that this generation is going through. Also, I would like to tell a story. I have a friend and she has darker skin tone, and obviously she's from one of the South Asian countries, and she was always mocked for having darker skin tones, especially her family members. They used to, tease that she has very darker hands and everything like that. And she had terribly low self-esteem. Obviously, she wanted to lighten her skin tone. Here in South Asian countries, we say like turmeric is supposed to make your skin lighter, right? And she tried to do it. And until high school, she had very, very low self-esteem. After she went to China, she met many people from the Western world. Obviously, in China, racism is still a big problem, but a lot of problems, like a lot of people in the university that my friend studied in, they were from Western countries and they found her very attractive. A lot of people asked her out, a lot of guys and girls asked her out, and this led to her self-esteem being, higher than before. Actually, her self-esteem is so good right now. She's very, very confident and everything. And I am telling this story to point out the differences between the way of thinking that we have between the South Asian culture, let's say the entire Asian culture, against, the Western culture, where in the Western culture, tanning or having an caramel chocolate skin is considered to be, very good, but they don't completely ostracize or negate the fair-skinned people exist. They are very, very proud of the diversity that they have, the diversity in skin tones, the diversity in thought, and many different kinds of diversity. But when it comes to the Asian countries, I think it might be even more rampant in the South Asian countries, that we have diversity, but we don't want to, we just pretend that it does not exist. We want to be like robots. We all want to be fair. We all want to be, have bigger eyes and all of these things. So I just wanted to point out the differences between the Western culture and the South Asian culture. That's all. Hi. So you guys made it to the end of the video. I am so proud of you all. The reason why I decided to do this video is because of the fact that Bollywood is a very, very important part of people's lives in South Asia, because they kind of seek some sort of an escape from their day-to-day activities, because South Asian countries, they're not developed, and many of the people in South Asian countries are living in very dire conditions, where maybe they don't have clean water, or the everyday situation is not as good. So this is why we seek such escape by watching such terrible movies. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, if you want to watch it, it's your prerogative. Definitely go and watch it. But what I want to say is that if you want some changes, you have to speak out against this, because I really think that racism is not something that should be tolerated. And I'm sure a lot of you watching the video and or listening to my video, they feel the same, because racism is something that does intrinsic very much damage to people, to everyone. So if you say one skin color is desirable as opposed to the other skin color, the skin color that has been so-called, let's say, demonized, those people are going to live with terrible self-esteem for the rest of their lives, and you don't want that to happen, right? So this is why I decided to make this video. And I guess I'll see you in another video, probably a movie review, or the video essay, the continuation. This is part 1, and there will be part 2 as well. I have already started my research, and it's going to be longer, I think. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and bye bye.